Welcome to the Uncomfortable Podcast, where we transform discomfort into a healing dialogue. In a world where we often feel pressured to present only the polished aspect of our lives, this podcast serves as a sanctuary for the real, the raw, and the messy. Here we embrace the echoes that true healing begins when we dare to vocalize our struggles. Our conversations are more than just talks. They are pathways to liberation and understanding. Each episode is an invitation to our listeners to join into a journey of vulnerability and honesty. We dove into a myriad of topics, navigating through the complexities of emotions, experiences, and often unspoken challenges that shape our lives. At the Uncomfortable Podcast, we don't just scratch the surface. We dive deep, encouraging our guests and listeners alike to release and speak their truth. It's a place where laughter and tears coexist, where stories and adversities become testimonies of resilience. Join us as we find comfort in the uncomfortable and discover that speaking out is the first step to healing. This is not just a podcast, it is a movement towards embracing our inner selves, imperfections included. Tune in as we journey together, speaking our way into healing and transformation. Welcome to the Uncomfortable Podcast. I am your host, JoHanna Zeno, and I am so excited that you are all here with us yet again. We are on day 9 of our 21-day devotional of Snitches Get Healed. Can y'all believe it? We've been rocking and rolling. We have had some amazing guests up to this point, and guess what? We have another amazing guest for you on tonight's episode. So look. Kick back your feet, relax. If you haven't already, go ahead and like, share, and comment on our YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe so you can get all of the latest updates and notifications, so that way whenever we drop a video, you're able to get it. So on this week's episode, we are going to be talking about seeking God's guidance. I know many of times we can have a hard time just understanding exactly what that is, but I am so thankful and so grateful for our guest on tonight, because she's going to be talking to us about ways that help her with journaling through her life and doing, being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, and so many other things. But I'll let her go ahead and tell it to you herself. So can we go ahead and give a warm, uncomfortable welcome to our guest, Miss Amber.
Thank you for having me here. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, we're excited that you're here with us. So Amber, can you go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone?
Yes, my name is Amber Trahan-Oluwaloju, and I am a cosmetologist, licensed cosmetologist, makeup artist, and a photographer.
Yeah, I told y'all also, she got it all.
Yeah. Very devoted in my Christian walk. I serve, I worship, and I'm devoted to our Lord Jesus Christ.
Listen, what an intro, right? And Amber is my homegirl. If y'all don't know already, she is my personal hairstylist. So yeah, that's why nobody just be out here touching my hair. As y'all can see, she does my makeup for me time to time, and she does photography as well. And we've been knowing each other now for 10 years now. Yes. It's been a decade that we've been rocking and rolling together. So just to see where we are now is oh my God.
The growth.
Yeah, it is, right? So much growth within that time frame. But Amber, go ahead and tell us a little bit about who was Amber as a little girl.
Oh, Amber as a little girl was a shy girl. Very, very shy, very, very quiet. Actually, when I was little, a lot of people thought I couldn't talk because I was so quiet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. In school, they thought I couldn't talk. I would not talk to anyone. But I was very good. I was the teacher's pet.
Oh, you was one of them goody two-shoes. Teacher's pet.
Yeah. And I was always a lover of Christ, even when I was a little girl.
Mm-hmm. That's good. I know some of us, we had it in us, but we didn't function and operate in it. Mm. So you've been seeking God's guidance from
itty bitty. I did not want to make a mistake. I was on a straight arrow.
Wow.
Yeah, as a little girl. Yeah.
Man, what was that like? Was who Amber was then? Did you ever dream about or think that you would become the woman who you are today?
Actually, I think I have. I was reflecting on my life now, and everything that I have. And I realized that this is what I always wanted. And also, this is what I prayed for.
Yeah.
So it's like everything I prayed for is manifesting. And when you're living in that blessing, you don't really realize. And you have to take a moment and be like, I prayed for this house. I prayed for this job. And so, yeah, I think I'm where I need to be right now.
Exactly where you need to be. So which makes it like just the perfect of cultivating our conversation on tonight is like when you was a little girl. I know you said that, you know, you always was a lover of Christ, being young. But what was that like, being that little girl, being a lover of God, not wanting to do anything wrong compared to maybe other peers that you would see, you know, like in the school playground? Because, you know, I was not that little girl. I was the opposite.
I met some people, you know, I met some people, and I noticed like whenever you're walking that straight arrow, you're trying to focus on God, the devil will use people to try to tempt you.
Listen here.
So I dealt with all kinds of, you know, I could have handled it the worldly way and took out my frustration on people. And all of it was a test though. But yeah, I had racism happen to me as a little girl.
Wow.
You know, I have all kinds of stuff happen to me, and you know, God took me for it though.
Yeah. So with where you are now, like we mentioned, you are a photographer, you are a cosmetologist, licensed cosmetologist, all the different things that you know, the many hats that you wear and the many roles that you play. Like, what does that look like on a day-to-day basis with constantly? Because I know you had it embedded in you as a little girl, but how do you keep that in who you are today and all the different hats and roles that you play?
You know what? I was thinking about that the other day, how many things I want to do. Like, I feel like I'm not even doing everything that I'm meant to do yet. So I'm still excited about what's coming. But like, so many ideas. So for hair, makeup, photography, super excited about pushing that photography more, because a lot of people don't know that I do photography. That's a passion of mine. But praying to God and putting him in everything that I do. So I'm dedicating every single part of me, the hair, the makeup, the photography, all of that is God, you know?
Yeah. It makes me think of Colossians that tells us, you know, anything it is that we do it wholeheartedly unto the Lord. So it's like hearing you say that, it's like it just reminds me and shows the example of like what that really truly looks like. And you know, I know like where you currently are now is like how you just said is what I've been praying for. But what about those times in life when it wasn't looking like you were getting the very thing that you was praying for? Because I think many can relate to those valley days, you know, of like, I'm praying, I'm trusting, I'm believing God for it, but it seems like it's just not happening. Like, what was those days looking like for you?
It was gloomy. It was very, very gloomy. You know, that's why the growth is real. Because right now, like, I know, you know, what to do now, but back then, I really didn't. I had moments where I was like, you know, sad and depressed and frustrated, and I had those moments. But I have learned over time that whenever we pray to God for these things, God, he does his part. But are we doing our part? So a lot of times we think we're waiting on God, but he's waiting on us. You know, so I think that a lot of things that didn't happen was my own fault.
Child, we can really whip ourselves on that.
Like, God, why you didn't do it for me? You know, and he's just like, I'm just waiting for you.
And like that can be like challenging. And I think like while we're unpacking, you know, our 21-day devotion of Snitches Get Healed, because y'all know we snitching and we telling on ourselves and all the things that we should be doing, like how you just said, but we know that we're not doing. Like, it's like God is waiting for us just to activate, you know, our hope and our faith in wanting to see if he can really trust us with the very desires of our heart. But it can be like hard.
I know.
And it can be trying, and it can really make you think like, am I supposed to even be doing this? It can make you start to doubt yourself, you know? Like, did you ever experience like just doubting yourself? Like, God, I know you said it and I'm trusting your word, but is it really
I struggle bad, like with anxiety. So with anxiety, I had a lot of like thoughts. So, you know, it was always like kind of negative, like I wasn't good enough, or, you know, it's not going to happen for me. Like I'm always going to get picked last. So, you know, so I had those thoughts, like I'm always picked last.
Aww.
Nobody want to be my friend, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, but fighting those, I had to learn that was of the enemy, and just fighting against that, but and pushing through.
But, so you used to be like the kid on the playground that used to get picked last?
Oh yeah, I sucked at every sport. Nobody wanted me. Nobody wanted me on their team. Then I was quiet and shy, so I wasn't like the popular one. And then I'm also I wasn't a follower, so so whatever was trending or whatever everyone else was doing, I tend to do the opposite. So, yeah.
And that can be like a war even within itself, because we know we live in a culture nowadays to where what is the latest trend, or what is, you know, the most popular thing that's out there. But, you know, even if we go back to the word and how it tells us that, you know, like we are in this world, but we are not of this world. You know what I mean? Like being separated because of who we are called to be. And I tell it to my kids all the time. I'm like, it's just certain things you just cannot do. At the end of the day, I know you want to do it, but you just can't do it because of everything that comes with it. You know what I mean? So I'm sorry you was the last kid picked on the playground.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I never felt.
That sucks. So what was it about like where you was then and seeking God's guidance and going through your own personal journey of things, like your healing journey, into like where you are now? What would you say, or what can you say was the very thing that maybe that sticks out to you the most, that you can just sit now and just be like, I'm so thankful I went through that, because had I not, I probably would not be who I am today?
Yeah. I think of that all the time, just how God journeyed me to this point. Like if I never did this, then I would have never went to cosmetology school. I never would have met my husband. I never would have, you know, moved to Houston. And then I would never be where I'm at right now, sitting next to you having this conversation. So I'm like, it's good. It's even God will work in any decision you make, whether you made a bad mistake or whatever, how God can navigate it and put you back on a straight arrow, you know. So like where we supposed to be right now. I'm supposed to have this conversation with you right now, you know. So I don't regret anything, because I know that all of that made me into the person I am now. And I feel like if I didn't struggle the way I did, maybe I wouldn't be the person I am now. You know, I might have been like a bad person.
Who knows? Because
I got everything I wanted. So.
And it Romans 8:28, it tells us that all things work together for the good, you know, according to his purpose and his love for those who love him. Paraphrasing it, y'all don't go, you know, off on me for that, but it's really true, like what you say. Like I know my childhood was completely different. You know, I played the sports, I was, you know, part of the teams and so on, but I know what helped me when I was younger was just a sense of belonging. I wanted to feel belong. I wanted to be seen. Many who know my story, like even with my dad, I dealt with a lot of abandonment and a lot of rejection, you know, because of the lack of the relationship and connection with my dad. And that really helped cultivate my character of who I am today, because I love people. I love being, you know, part of people, but I also to know what it's like to see someone and wanting someone to feel as if they belong. Like go and get the kid who was the last, you know. No, we're not picking them last this time. No, you come join my team. You know, like when you was the captain.
No one gets left out.
No one. If I can help it, no one gets left out, because at the end of the day, everyone has their journey. Everyone has something that they're going through, and I won't know your story unless you tell me. Just like the next person, we won't know their story, you know, unless they open up and they tell us. But not everyone wants to talk out, you know, publicly and openly, because it requires vulnerability, you know, that comes with it. So if we were to say, because like Amber, like you like that girl, you know what I mean? Like, even though you say you were shy and I didn't want to get in trouble, you know, the teacher's pet, but you was that girl, I think, like most of us aim to be like. but there was a certain kind of like just combativeness on the inside of us. So like, what does like when you wake up in the morning and you like, of course you thank God for waking you up, like what is your thoughts for the day? What are some of the things that you put pen to paper, like meditation, prayer? What are some of the things that you have to put on your mind and on your heart with seeking God in the morning for your day?
Lately I have started to I've been praying a lot. Like I've been getting more prayerful, but then lately in the morning I like to be more silent and listen to what God has for me for that day, what he wants me to do. And then at night I do the heavy praying.
That war room praying.
Yeah. Because I gotta admit, I'm not a morning person like I want to be. I'm not a morning person like I want to be, but I stay just still and just listen to God and what he wants me to do and what he has for me.
Yeah. And there's so much that you can gain in stillness and quietness, like to be able to eliminate the noise. And I know you said you're married now. Yeah. So with being married now, does what you're like seeking God and his guidance as just a single individual to now being married?
Yeah, it's so much different because before, not that you focus on yourself, but
we did focus on ourselves before marriage.
But now I'm praying for my husband. When I pray for myself, I'm covering him. I'm like, I'm not gonna let the enemy use him as a entry into my life. So I'm covering all of him.
Yeah,
because the two are one. So I'm covering both of us. Oh, thank you for those books you gave us for our wedding.
Oh, the books? What books I gave y'all?
Prayers for your husband, or prayers
21 days of prayer for husbands and wives.
Yeah,
was it that one?
Yeah.
Looking right here. We have it somewhere up here. Oh, like this one. Hold on. I know y'all. That's my book. Was it this?
No.
It wasn't that.
No.
31 prayers for my future husband. I don't know, but it was something, y'all. Whenever we find out, we're gonna make sure to put it in the link. Yeah. So make sure to share that with me. So do y'all implement them like on a day-to-day basis or?
Oh, the books. The books. Well, I remember when I first got married, I was reading the books, and it really helped me because just adjusting to married life, it wasn't easy for me. Just a transition, and so instead of being frustrated with my situation on my husband, I read the books, and it helped me know how to pray for situations and for him. So I knew that I wasn't. We're on the same team here.
Right.
I'm praying against the enemy that impacts our marriage, covering our marriage. Yeah. So the enemy don't mess up our marriage because he
tried.
Yeah. So I really love those books.
I'm so warm-hearted on the inside to know that I was able to bless you with that. I completely forgot about that. Yeah. We just be gifting and doing stuff and we don't even remember it. But what was it like with your move from Louisiana to Texas? Because you're originally from?
I'm actually born in Lafayette, but raised everywhere, Morgan City. I've lived in California, lived in Atlanta, Georgia. So born in Lafayette, but when I was 18, I moved back to Lafayette from Atlanta, Georgia, and then, just around Louisiana. But been here most of my life, which is my adult life.
Yeah.
I did the math. So my adult life is like more than my childhood.
Yeah. So what was it like going from Louisiana to Texas and now married doing that?
Yeah, it was in the beginning, just adjusting. I guess I wasn't really ready to let go of what I consider home just yet. So it was like I was happy, but I was a little bit depressed, and then it was a lockdown happened right after we got married.
Yeah, with COVID.
So, with COVID and everything like that, and and then I couldn't let my clients go.
I know.
So I was still coming back once a month, all the way up to right now. So,
like keep in mind because Amber, when I did my first big chop, because I know I'm natural, Amber did it for me. This was like in 2017. I think it was. We did the big chop. And then we were very consistent with doing our hair and spending our time together and doing what we did. And then she moved. And I was like, who gonna do my hair?
Mm-hmm.
But you still come back every now and then, like at least once a month.
Once a month. I took a break this month, but once a month.
Once a month to come do my hair, because I'd be like, as you can see, we need to touch up that gray is just popping out,
and it's growing so much.
It is like, Amber, you do my hair some justice, girl. You just don't know it.
I'm like, did we cut your hair like 2 years ago?
we did. Mm-hmm.
Big chop again.
We did. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that just goes to show you got some healing and power in your hands when it comes to this hair.
Oh yeah, I pray that everything that I touch is blessed in Jesus' name.
It is blessed, y'all. I'm telling y'all. So what? Because keeping in mind, you don't have any kids yet, and you're praying for it and believing God for it. But what do you think life is going to be like when that comes?
You know, I think about that every single day. Mm-hmm. You know, how am I going to be able to balance? Mm-hmm. You know, everything I'm doing now plus children. Yeah. I think that I wouldn't know until it happens, but I feel like I think it's going to kind of push me. Yeah. I think it's going to push me because when I talk to other mothers, having a child really changed them. So you're not the same person. So no. I'm like, I may not be the same person. I might think different than what I'm thinking right now. So. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And let me say, you're going to make an amazing mother.
Oh, thank you.
You will. Like, you're so soft-spoken. I have never heard you, like, raise your voice. You know what I mean? I never heard you, like, say anything negative about anyone. Now, somebody, like, got on your nerves a little bit. You know, you kind of, like, a little head too. But, like, you never, like, you know, spoken ill of anyone. And that's something it is I always admired you for. Because I don't speak ill of people, but they be working my nerves sometimes. Yeah. But you won't even say that.
Oh, yeah. I'm very careful about how I speak, especially over people, because I don't know, you know, how it's going to affect me probably more than it affects them. But I don't want to, like, throw out anything negative.
Yeah. Because I'd be like, man, Amber, she just, like, your meekness with things. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like, it's definitely something to be, to admire. Aww. But to say that you have that spirit on you already, and any seed it is that you have or you bring into this earth that's going to be covered in that already, it's going to be beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much.
And you just so, like, detailed. You're so intentional with things. So I can just see, like, you know, just your bond and your relationship with your babies. It's going to be beautiful. I can't wait to see it. And we get to go to baby showers and do play dates and everything like that. It's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. So with everything it is, and I know the listeners and anyone who's watching, they're getting to know more about who used to be a shy little girl. Yeah. You're not shy anymore. You may try to act like you are, but let's keep in mind.
You know, God transformed me.
He did. Because Amber ain't shy.
Well, this all just happened, though. I feel like in the past 5 years span.
Yeah.
You know, I was raising my nephew with my sister, and I was stuck in the house with a baby. So I wasn't talking to grown-ups.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of just made me even more shy. But I think just leading praise and worship really helped me socially. And then, you know, fasting and praying, I prayed over this. So me speaking to anyone is a testimony in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with you being in the name of the church again is?
Oh, Family Life Church.
The Family Life Church that you do lead praise and worship. What is that like? Because, you know, you have to be anointed to do that.
I know. And I love it.
Covering.
Yeah, I love it. But I feel like, you know, God really pushed me because he gives me this, like, yearningness to worship him, where I feel like I have to. Like, this is what we were designed to do, is worship. So I just have this yearningness. Like, if that could be my 24/7 job, worshiping, that would be it, you know. But coming out here, doing hair, you know, doing makeup, going to whatever event, spending time with family, then, you know, maybe Wednesday night service, like tonight, going worship tonight, and then Sunday, wake up at 5 a.m, be to church for 7, lead worship 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock service. Yeah, so it's a full day.
Yeah. But you're anointed for it.
Oh,
You know what
thank
I
you.
mean? And
Yeah.
not just that, but just the spirit that you give off. Because when I seen your clipping for the very first time when you did worship, I was like, I knew you could sing, but I didn't know you could sing.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? You know, like I could sing in the shower and in my car. But whenever you see someone who's like anointed and you can hear to where I know you went to God before you sung this song. You know what I mean? Like, and you can just feel that. And not just that you just feel it, but the very thing it is that the person who is listening and the person who's receiving, like, I'm receiving what you're saying and it's really breaking something on the inside of me. That is how I know that you're anointed. God must have had a special conversation with you. You know what I mean?
I remember when I was a baby, like, I remember the first time I worshiped. As a baby, I walked up to the stage.
Oh, wow.
And I pulled on the pastor's clothes. I'm like, I want to sing a song. He gave me the microphone. I sung Let Us Worship Christ by Yolanda.
Wow.
Big voice, little baby. And my mom was shook because I'm a shy girl. I don't talk, do nothing. And I went up there and sung.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm like, something about worship.
Yeah, from the little shy little girl not being picked, but you were a worshiper.
Yeah, in front of the whole church.
In front of the whole church. Yeah. I love it. I love it. So if there's anyone who may be questioning or maybe asking themselves the question or may even feel stuck, what advice would you be able to give to them, or what insight or testimony that you can share with them with there is like an intentional way on how you can seek God?
Yeah, you need to just sit still and actually seek God. You know, actually seek Him. Don't just come in with your own selfish, whatever. Yeah, but actually, like, Lord, like, I know what I want to do, but what do you want me to do? You know, what do you have for me? What can I do for you? You know, once you start putting God first in everything that you do and doing exactly what God has assigned for you, He'll bless you by giving you the things that you really want, you know, and He placed those desires inside of you. So, like, why would He place a desire inside of you if He wasn't going to give it to you? Yeah. You know, so yeah, you got to sit still and seek God and fast and pray and really take it serious, you know, because we get, distracted with everything else and we miss a lot of things.
Yeah. When you said that sitting still, I think that's like the hardest part for so many people. It's like sitting still, and then some can even ask like, what does that even look like? Yeah. On a day-to-day basis, because we're a wife, we're a mom, we're teachers, we're chef, we're all these different things that we, the roles we play inside of the house. But then when we go outside, now we're an employer or entrepreneur and so on. So like with seeking God, like in sitting still, like what did that look like for you? I know what it looked like for me, but what did it look like for you?
It's actually quieting yourself and listening for, because why, you wonder why God's not answering you. Or are you listening for an answer? You constantly asking God for things. So ask God for whatever you need to ask God for. Quiet your mind and actually listen. Because God is always speaking, but we're not always listening. And we get distracted, and the devil will send different distractions your way so you can't hear God's voice. So it's very, very, very important to really, really seek Him on it. You'll feel it in your spirit, and you'll know the answer.
Oh my God. I know, like, for me, back in 2022 is when I knew previously I have, like, sat still, and like, okay, God, what we doing? What you saying? What's currently going on? But in January 2022, for me, that sitting still was not just remaining still, but also to feeling everything that I had to feel in that season. I had to, because I sat still before, but I never felt it. And with the 21-day devotional, day 9 is where I reference in Gideon. Because I was a Gideon. Like, I don't know who else could attest to it, but I was a Gideon. I'm like, okay, God, if this is really you, I'm going to need you to show this, do this. Like, you have to prove yourself to me. I know what you're telling me to do, but that ain't making sense to me. You know what I mean? And then whenever He would reveal it and He would show it, then I would come back. Okay, yeah, you showed me, but how I know it's really you? Because the enemy, he can deceive us, as well. So I remember, and what helped me with creating day 9 in the devotional was I was a Gideon. I'm like, you gonna have to make the dew be on the grass in the morning, and then reverse it the next time around. But it's whenever I sat still and I felt everything that I had to feel, it was a matter, and what I believe God was showing me was that there's no way that you can overcome something without really truly trusting and believing the very thing it is that I'm speaking to you and revealing it to you. So it's not until I sat still and felt everything that I had to feel. And not just that, he had to show me people and who they were in my life, how they were, presenting themselves in my life. And I didn't like that.
Yeah, it's like this understanding. Like, it's like in a one instant, you'll understand a lot more than what someone could just tell you.
Yeah.
Through feeling, through the presence of God, through the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And it takes you actually quieting yourself and actually feeling what God has for you, surrounding you with the presence of God, and Him ministering to you through feeling.
Yeah.
And everything makes sense.
It made so much. Like, here we are 2 years later. I'm like, oh, that's what you was trying to show.
It makes complete sense.
It makes, but it's not until you go through it. Yeah. And it's that going through phase, like going through that storm, going through that wilderness. It's not until you get to the other side, then you're going to understand. And then you're going, and then the whole time you have been seeking God. It's just that you've been seeking Him, not in a way to reveal and to show you, because you had your own personal agenda. But whenever you really truly submit yourself and you surrender, and you literally like, okay, God, I'm seeking you, how we mentioned earlier, no agenda attached, but what it is that you would want me to do. And I need you to guide me by way of the Holy Spirit every single day. But when you get to the other side, it's like, oh, it's like really truly like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, and it's really how you start spending time with God in your prayer, because you have to really start with the worship, inviting the Holy Spirit in. But just like how Jesus said how you should pray, our Father who art in heaven, you glorify God first. Don't just go in with
acknowledging Him.
Yeah, don't just go in like, God, you help me with this and that. And you're basically before the throne of God, basically. You're right before Him. What are you gonna, if you're and you have an audience, if you have an audience of angels and you have God right before you, are you gonna be complaining in front of that whole audience, or are you gonna just like, oh God, you're so awesome, you're amazing? So you go in with admiration and with worship, and then you fill up, and then you go in with your request granted.
Yeah.
Request is granted.
After you ask for forgiveness and everything.
Yeah, ask for forgiveness, all that. And He's like, ooh, this is, He's looking at you like, look at my child.
Yeah, yeah.
Look at my child.
And let me tell you, when I go into it with like really truly seeking God's guidance, it's like when I start to pray, the very thing I even started to pray for, I don't even pray for that. Yeah. Like what I go into prayer for.
Yeah.
I wind up going completely around all of that, really truly with having a heart posture of, God, thank you.
Yeah. That's the right way.
Whatever you want to do, let's just do it. Like literally, that's my day today. Okay, God, what we doing today? Like I know we have somewhat of a plan, but I really truly just want to show up wherever you are and you just have your way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it takes time. It definitely takes a lot of seeking. It takes a lot of prayer, but it also takes having a firm foundation of a community around you as well. Because it's not something that, now I know some could get there by way on their own, but some people really truly need to have that community around them with helping them navigate getting there.
That is true. Because some people, they're like, I'm going to do it on my own, but then you don't do it. No. You don't do it.
No accountability.
So you need to be surrounded by prayer warriors. You need to go to church every Sunday. because you know on your own you won't do it.
Yeah. And then too, I know for me, you said, going to church like every Sunday is, I know for me, I have to. It's not a matter of, oh, I'm going. No, I have to go to church. I feel like if I miss church,
I feel so bad.
I feel like I miss a whole piece of my life. Like if I don't go.
I feel so bad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, I did make a vow with God back in September of 2012. The only way I'll miss church is if I'm either sick or we're on vacation. Other than that, I'm like, as long as the church doors are open, I'm there because I know it's so vital to my life. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. Each day I enter the church house, I go with an expectation. Not sure what it is, but I know there's something here I need, regardless if it's a word, a smile I need to see from someone, or a hug, whatever it may be. But it's like, if I don't go, I'm going to miss something. And I can honestly say since then, even while COVID happened, so we couldn't go to church. But I've been in the church doors every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's where you belong.
It's where I belong. It's not just it's where I got to be.
Yeah. It's like another home for you.
It is. And I get so much, joy out of serving. I know like a person who does not serve may not be able to understand it, but I get so much joy out of just serving. Like, I love what I do.
That's how I feel.
I love what I do. And you can't explain it. I just love what I do.
Yeah. If I stopped serving, I don't know how I would feel.
Yeah.
I'll probably be depressed.
I'd be depressed.
Yeah, because that's what God made us to serve and be, and every just, how I'm a worship leader, there's different forms of worship. So what you do is worship. Yeah. And whether you're a chef or an artist, it's worship too. It's worship. A gardener, it's worship. Everybody have their own form of worship. Yeah. So as long as you're doing it for God.
Yeah, unto the Lord. Colossians tells us. I heard someone say it. I don't remember exactly who it was, but they said is that, the thing it is that the gift it is that God gives to us is our blessing and gifts of how we give it to others back to Him. Like, how do we show up? I know if we think about the 3 individuals in the Bible where, God gave them each a talent. He gave one 5. I mean, was it 5, 10, and 1, and so on. Yeah. But it was in that return that is our gift, back to God. And one of the things it is like, okay, I know I may not do it perfect. I know I may not do it right. But my heart posture is to always just show up to where it really truly is pleasing to God. And if I don't get it right, okay, God, what do we need to do? The next time around. Yeah.
I love you brought that scripture up because I was brushing up on it last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm like, every time I hear that, I'm like, it's confirmation.
It is confirmation. Yeah. And it's like some people, even regardless if it's a 10, the 5, or the 1, is like the one who had just the one, he took it and buried it because he wanted to hold on to it. He didn't want to lose it. And I know many a times we can feel that way. Like, if God give me this, I feel like I just need to hold on to it, can't let it go. Yeah. But your worship really truly is how you offer it back to Him.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna know how to do
anything with it. God is not pleased.
Yeah.
He give you all these gifts and you're not doing what you're supposed to. He's not pleased.
He's not. And there's so many. And there's some. I think it was Les Brown who said it. One of the richest places in the world is the graveyard because so many people die with their gifts and their talents, and the very thing it is that they were supposed to plant inside the ground to give as others. And it made me just think of it does, but it also too made me think of it's not just our worship, but it's also to our offering that we give back.
Yeah, I was thinking about the other day. Actually, I was thinking about how we could pass without fulfilling the calling that God has given us. Like whenever we're placed on this earth, we already have a calling. Yeah. We already have a destiny before we're even born. And if you fail the assignment, that would be so
devastating.
You thought you were gonna come here, you're gonna conquer, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that when I get to earth, and then you get here and then you fail. That would be
It makes you think of like even the scripture that tells us that I know, like says, you know, like whenever we get there, you want him to be able to say to you, job well done. And it's like, what if I didn't seek him enough and I don't get a job well done? Like, do I go like to the lowest part of heaven?
You know, or if I make it with the skin of my teeth into heaven, my small reward compared to everyone's great reward, like the other people that actually did the something work, they getting this great reward, and you just made it just barely. Like you like, God, how I made it here, you know, because you didn't do the work. So yeah, it just makes you think.
It makes you think. It does, but it also too should give, I hope and pray for all of our listeners who are going through, you know, a journey and a transition in your life, and you may feel stuck, or you may feel as if you have unanswered prayers, is that maybe you just need to dive a little bit deeper and seek a little bit harder. Because the Bible is the only thing that we can read, and it can read us back. And it's not until you dive into it and you start to really, truly go to God without your own agenda, but really, truly asking him to, you know, fulfill the desires of your heart through his word and his purpose and calling it is that he has for you. So if there's anything it is that you can leave with our listeners or anyone it is who's viewing at this time, what would it be?
Well, I would want to leave, like I know we've been talking about a lot about how our destiny, our calling, like if anyone has not or doesn't feel like they did what they needed to do and they have regret for it, that God has so much grace. He's the Lord of grace. He's the Prince of Peace. You know, he has so much mercy. You know, more mercy, more forgiveness than anyone can give you, and he always has a way. You know, so whatever situation you're in now, God can make it great. All you have to do is lean on him. Keep your eyes on Jesus, because like as soon as you take your eyes off of Jesus, that's when you fall. But as long as your eyes stay on Jesus, you will never fail.
Yeah, and that's it. We have to. It's a scripture that tells us, "I look to the hill to where my help comes from." As long as we keep looking up to the hill, then you know he will forever be there. You know, really, truly, just guiding us. Like you know, we talk about seeking God's guidance, but he really, truly, without us even really knowing or putting a mind on it, he really, truly is helping us with navigating through life. And unless we're sensitive to it.
As I won't think. So
that can be the hard part at times. But listen, if you are following with us still on our Snitches Get Healed, guess y'all, like I mentioned, we have the hard copy now. So go ahead, make sure to purchase yours. So that way you can just stay on track with everything it is that we have going on. Make sure again to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you have not already liked and shared and follow us on Facebook, go ahead and do so. We have all of the social media handles that is going to be in the link for you all. So again, Amber, thank you for coming and grace us with your presence here on the Uncomfortable Podcast. Like everyone know, you know, we talk about all the uncomfortable stuff, the hard conversations, really being able to dig deep into those very things that we tussle and we war with so many times. But it's all about seeking God's guidance. And when you seek him for the answers, everything else is going to fall into place. So Amber, again, thank you, my girl, my friend, my little homie, who we've been rocking for like, bro, it's been over 10 years.
We family now.
Oh, we family. family. You do my hair. You do she do everything for me. Like she's part of my tribe. I know. Listen, when I tell you, I had someone message me. They do, I wish I could put them on blast, but I'm not. But they do like small groups with women. And it was like, well, can we do? I'm like, absolutely. Yeah, you definitely can. Oh, and let's get into this too. Y'all see the picture and the name there? That's Amber, because she's a photographer. Listen here. But yeah, you can utilize the book for your own personal development journey, or if you are part of a small group organization and you all want to do it that way, you can as a group. I really truly believe in accountability, because look, we be needing people to do life. We cannot do life by ourselves. But go ahead, click the link, get your purchase today. If not, you have any questions, or even if you have anything for Amber, we'll make sure to have all of her contact, her social media handles, so that way you can go ahead and hit her up if you just having a hard time with anything. My sister will be there for you to pray for you, worship with you, do your hair, take your photography, whole 9 yards, whatever it is that you need. So until next time, go out and live a comfortable, uncomfortable life. I am your host, JoHanna B. Zeno, and our special guest on today, Miss Amber. So till next time, y'all have a good one.